So other than maybe getting a slightly shorter intro, welcome to Beyond the Rift, where we talk about things that are Smite-like and all sorts of news and information, and try to keep you up to date on the pro scene, non-pro scene, just the general changes of the game. I am your host, Demon Machine. This is my co-host, Rebel.
Yo.
Welcome to the show. We plan to have a great show today. There's tons of stuff to talk about. Things that we will be talking about will be Xblanque, or Xblanque, you know, all sorts of different sayings of the same name that nobody can pronounce. Whatever Erez talked about on the hi-rez stream today, we're talking about it tonight because he said a lot.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. All sorts of things. The public test server is now going, and we were playing it, and it was fun. And some items are just stupidly overpowered. And it's like awesome. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
Yeah.
And so let's see. There's utility points that are now known as focus. There's tons of new items. Yeah. And the graphics have been changed. The buffs have been changed. My balls are on fire when I get the fire giant. Oh, it's great.
Oh, yes.
Whew. And then what are the tournament results from this past weekend? I can't remember them right off this hat. I remember that Reason Gaming won the myRevenge tournament, and I think that was the only thing that happened this weekend.
Yeah, BLG.eu got third.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
There was also 2 woggle matches.
Yeah.
Right.
Times.
Shh. Nobody. None of that now. Other than that,
Yeah, that'll come later.
Yep. And also, that's kind of the interesting part is that they won the myRevenge tournament, but then the myRevenge team kind of split up because Proxy, QQ, GG, UU, whatever he likes to go by as his last 2 letters, decided that he was putting in too much effort and not getting enough out of it kind of thing. And so he left the team, and that kind of, he was also running the tournament. And, well, so that's it. You know,
That happens.
good show.
Good show, mate.
So then, right. So, on to the guests. Actually, I should have done this 2 seconds ago.
Yes, you
Hello,
should.
we're welcoming Get Fit. Yes, I need to take off that. That was one thing I remembered I was going to take off. Get Fit from BLG.eu, Husker fan from Procore Gaming, Cooper from SmiteNetwork, and then Pon wait, from Outlaw Esports. Thank you all for joining us.
And Pompon is not to be... Pompon Weiwei is not to be confused with Pompon Weiwei. Just so you know.
Right. Pon Weiwei
Yeah.
is not to be confused with the other person that is Pon Weiwei.
Yes.
No, and I'm Pon Way. He is Way with an H and a UE.
Wait, you're not Hugh?
No, I'm not Hugh.
Oh, God.
He's not.
That was
So-
the whole conversation last time.
It was like a
I
20-minute conversation about that.
I troll you when I go in your stream.
Oh, it was great. It was great. So, I guess we'll just jump on the first thing that's going on right now. What do you guys think of the new test realm, and how much are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Everything is different. I don't know what's
Really
going on.
fun.
It's a lot of fun. New game mode, or the new, daily matches. So it's a lot of fun.
New daily matches. Tell
Yes.
us what you're talking about.
Like Norse versus South, where it's the Norse gods versus gods such as Greek and Roman gods. That's a lot of fun.
Cool.
So other things like that, just some of the updates out there. The new little trinkets that you get when you take a buff are amazing.
Yes, they are awesome. As I said, my balls are on fire because when you get Fire Giant, you now have a ball of fire floating around you. It's just great. Great balls of fire.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many
Yeah, the
references
graphics are way better. It's more Borderlands-ish.
They've
mixed
got
with
like
Smite.
a new they've got a whole new rendering engine, it seems like, where there's just a slight it is kind of a mix between Borderlands and Smite if you were to do that.
And it looks like it has more depth, even though it doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
So good job, art team.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah,
I guess
quality
people
of life of the game has definitely improved this patch.
Yes, it's a completely different game, quite frankly. It is very, very different. The rocks and the stuff in between. Holy crap, Odin is now overpowered in this new game. Me and Cooper were playing, and we kept playing, and well, of course we kept playing, but we were staying in our lane, and we're like, why is Ymir over there in the jungle trying to gank us? Because, we can totally see him. This has to be a bug. He's just standing right there, because in the new patch, it gives you a silhouette that's all, blue or red or orange, depending on, it's whatever color they are. And so it's great because you can see what they're doing. That's awesome. So when you're going in to join friends in a team fight, you can see, are they auto-attacking? Are they ulting? What are they doing? So that way you can prepare better to see what happens when you go in. And so Cooper and I were sitting there thinking, this can't be right. We can see him all the time wherever I am. And so it took us 2 games to figure out, right, I'm playing Odin. I should be able to see him thanks to my passive. Just didn't really occur to me. I guess
Makes
because
it useful.
you can see them on the mini-map in the old method, but you could never see, like, maybe you'd see their health bar, and that'd be it. And so that was it. But now it's like you can see a whole silhouette, and it's great.
And also, it's
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest changes. It gives so much more information, and now if you like have teammates around the wall and you need to like Agni Meteor over the wall, you can actually hit the Agni Meteor reliably.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gives you a good
And
sense
instead
of
of
depth.
just going to the general team fight direction, you're actually able to see where they're peeling off to, so you can kind of pick up that last kill if you need to.
Yep, and you can also tell, like, you see your team fight from halfway across the thing, and then you see all 4 of your guys' ultimates go off. You're like, holy crap, they're really, into it. We need to get over there, or something like that. And so by the time you get there what spells they've already cast because you've been watching them use them. So I think this is going to be a huge change.
Yeah, it's really cool. Also, tonight we have joining with us Red Viper.
Yes,
from Team Xblanque.
Explanity. Which
How you guys doing?
Good.
Which is
Thanks for joining
explaining
us.
insanity, is what I guess it
Yeah.
means.
So yeah, the change with how you see people, and when you see them far away, most of the characters, if you've ever seen that like stick figure fight videos, they look kind of like that. So it's also just fun to watch.
It is.
Yeah.
But it was.
I'm very much.
I found it quite
looking
useful
forward to it.
because you could also, like, when we were sitting there looking at Ymir on the other side of the wall in the jungle, I mean, you could see he was looking right at us, too. So you knew he was kind of setting up for it versus, oh, my God, there's just a hitbox of Ymir over there. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So it's great. And
If you guys haven't seen it yet, like, no, it's full animation.
Yeah.
And everything. So if an Agni ults, you see the full animation to the wall. So it's really useful.
Yeah. Really cool.
That's like the biggest awesome change thus far. Other than that, what do you guys think of these items that just make you cry? Like, I got, I don't know, the Chin's
ones?
Blades and got 50% attack speed, and I was just eating people alive.
Oh my god.
The Mentor's doll
Yes.
on Ao Kwang Tornado.
What was Stormy's running on the...
the thing that made him immune from
yeah, he's
minions.
totally immune from minions. He's just standing there and like 18 minions are around him just shooting him, and he's taking no damage.
Yeah, it says immune.
Yeah.
It's
I don't remember what that item was.
It's the Mark of the Vanguard.
Yes,
Mark
Mark,
of
of the Vanguard.
155 health, 5 HP 5 physical protection, and 5 magical protection. And its passive is all damage taken is reduced by 10. Not percent.
Oh
just
my
10.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just say that's gonna be a little bit broken for some gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially early game.
Yes.
Because you can more or less ignore a fairly substantial amount of damage.
Yeah.
Another thing that's gonna be broken early game, Hell ult at level 1.
Hell ult at level 1. Yes. GG. That happens.
Yeah. I would kind of want to wait to get that confirmed. If that's a bug or
yeah.
not.
That
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
removed.
It's a question of,
Or
is it a
change.
bug or is it intentional? I mean, it happens. You can do it. It's just we don't know why.
They discussed it on the stream today, and I do believe that was intentional.
Oh, really?
Oh, that she
I must have
switched
missed that part.
stances?
Go ahead. What were they? What was the reasoning? Did they say?
They didn't really. That was kind of when they're in the rant of like tons and tons of information, and they just kind of said, "By the way, Hell now has ult at level 1. Moving on, Quince Blades."
Nice. Instaban number 1.
Well, like, the problem with Hell is that you needed to beat her pre-7 or pre-6, and then she still kind of wins the lane anyway. Now she can ult and sustain herself, and she can like swap stances to auto-attack quicker as well. So she's pushing even faster than before, and I just don't see why she needs a buff.
Pon, do you agree?
Well, I think they were thinking that with the new focus change and the reduced healing that she's going to get from her her 3 and her 1, I thought they wanted it would do less now, so they justified giving her ultimate at level 5. I saw, I think, someone play Hell on stream, and it looked like it was completely broken, though. I don't think they adjusted it enough to really make it viable to have her switch stances. Although it does make her side lane viable now, which I like, because I'm a side laner.
So then
Her
what
damage
happens?
is still a bit too high.
What
for-
happens when you get her ult then?
You get the passive.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Interesting.
get the passive strength up, which is what it was before.
Which
I
you
would
don't
assume.
really need.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff on the test client, we have to say, is it's a test client.
Right.
So
It's betaception. It's
Yeah.
a beta in a beta in a beta.
Yes,
I
and
really like the patch.
I do.
Yeah,
I like it
it's a
lot.
lot
Except
of fun.
The rocks. The rocks have to go.
Why don't you like the rocks?
Why don't you like the rocks? I love the rocks.
Okay, basically, my opinion is that the rocks have completely changed the way that, like, in mechanics now on the lane, and you can play certain combinations and abuse these narrow gaps. Like, if you guys have played Ymir Anhur,
Yep.
like, Anhur cannot miss. Ymir can create, like, a tiny gap on either side, and you can't dodge as well with these rocks. You can only dodge in one way. And by them moving the side lane now, that there's nothing there for you to dodge into, like, you have to position yourself extremely well, and you get zoned by those little corridors and choke points. I don't think it's necessary. And their reasoning was to provide an LOS so that you could gank, these sort of ninja gank, allow you to roam more. And I think that doesn't provide that. It just changes the way you have to play the lane, and I just think it's broken. I just think it
Interesting.
really screws up with the way the lanes play out.
I guess we'll have to see in the next week or so.
I'd like to play it out for a little while longer to see how you guys handle that, because it's a lot about adapting. Because
Yeah.
if we're going to change things, you got to adapt, and that's important.
Yeah, because my comment on that is like, it's changing it, but it's only changing it from what we're used to. It may not be a bad thing. It may be actually the right thing. It's just changing it from what we're used to playing out as. So
Right.
having a more positioned lane phase may be what this game needs to kind of push it into competitive more.
I think it creates a choke point, really. Like, you can abuse it with a lot of gods, Anubis, Ra. I can name, like, any gods with a strong AoE clear that stops you from going forward. Ymir Anhur, Thor Anhur are the most, like, become even stronger than what they were before. Even with Thor not having damage on his ulti now, it doesn't matter. I mean, you completely team fights of teams that used to fight terrible in the jungle now can't even fight that well in the lane because they get even choked in their own lanes. So what are you meant to do when you need a team that needs space to fight against another team that's taken away from you?
Yeah, I agree with what people were saying though earlier. I like how the rocks are going to be helping out with the blocking of sight, because then you're going to be able to have, like, on her is going to have more areas to stun in,
Right.
making his 2 a lot better. So
I suggested that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. I think it's just a little bit overbearing. I think Get fits right in the sense that it makes the lanes... It makes them feel like claustrophobic, and you can abuse that, but mainly it just makes it feel claustrophobic. I feel like I'm in this, like, tiny confined area. And I know when they sent out that email, one of my feedbacks was, I just hope it doesn't make fighting in that area feel awkward or claustrophobic, and I feel like they went a little bit too... Like, it's not bad that they're adding line of sight. It's bad that how much it takes up. Because, like, if you stare down the center of the lane, it actually blocks vision of the entire lane down the center. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much space it takes up.
I suggested that if they wanted to make, like, roaming and line of sight, they should, this new fog in the map, you should allow it so it's, like, say, a 55-foot line of sight if you're looking in the jungle, and, like, before they come, say, 55-foot, 50, whatever they want to do, you can't see them, because currently at the moment you MIA call, and even if your team is warding really well, if you de-ward the enemy team so there is no vision, as long as your mid laner or whoever's being ganked is checking their lanes, you're going to see them coming and you're back. But if you provide an LOS from the fog, I think that would provide the sort of give a better mechanic, like, for roamers.
Interesting.
Just completely blocked vision if you look down from, say, within a range.
I don't know. I guess, like, for me, I'm kind of gonna go on the other side of that, because I kind of agree with what you guys are saying. You know, with it being like Ao Kwang, it kind of gives him like a really good lane presence because of his tornadoes, and it's hard to get out of. I just played Ymir earlier, and I do believe there was one section where I could almost block off the entire lane with the rock and the wall. There was a very, very small gap, but it was almost completely blocked, which was pretty rough for the other lane, for the other team. I kind of do like it in a way though, because it's weird for us because we're used to playing differently, so we have to completely readapt. I mean, we've only been playing, you know, for a few hours on this test realm, so like to see how the game would change with this kind of setup would probably take a little bit longer, maybe a week, give it maybe 2 weeks to really see how it would change the game. I like the way it's playing because it's different. I like different stuff, but I guess it would take a little bit of time. But I'm kind of enjoying it.
It's a nice change. What if they did maybe a instead of solid rocks? What if they did like a bush, to where it blocks the line of sight, but you can still go through it? Maybe just like a
Yeah, something
Then
like
people
that.
would be able
paper
to
roll.
Take
hide
a
it.
note out of another thing, yeah.
what?
It would
What-
just feel awkward. I'd
Yeah.
imagine like just seeing like Ymir, this towering figure, walk into a bush and suddenly you can't see him.
Well, maybe it's just like they use like a paper. You know, it's just like a one-dimensional, not one,
It would,
two-dimensional.
like
it would
three
still have the
rocks?
same effect.
Is it like 3 rocks in the lane right now? Because like
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
thinking maybe
Yeah.
if they only had 1 rock like in the middle of the lane, that might be kind of interesting. But having 3 of the rocks might be a little overkill.
But then, like, you can have your creeps like running around the side of them, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like if they just made it slightly less overbearing in the lane, you'd still have a line of sight block, as well as it's not small enough that you can completely Ymir wall or something like that.
Yeah,
If
You
they,
still have some more mobility in the lane, and it covers line of sight. I think it's too big right now.
you can't miss your Anhur stun, and we played against aggressive people, and we walled them in with our creeps and their creeps on the other side of the wall, and it's ridiculous to be able to land like a guaranteed stun. Like, Anhur cannot miss. You can plug any gap with his pillar at level 2. Like, I just think that there was nothing wrong with the side lanes before except the side lane buffs, and they fixed that. Like, everything in this patch is great apart from the rocks. That's just my opinion.
Interesting.
I'm going to play it out like everyone is, but that's where I stand at the moment.
cool.
Mhm.
We'll have
Yeah.
to get your opinion next week after you're playing on it for a week.
Yeah. And you're gonna come on next week, be like, dude, I love the rocks.
I love the rocks, or I've just jumped off a bridge. One of the two.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not going on that public test realm ever again. So, what other big changes did you guys? Aside, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
Removal
Uh,
of green and defense buff is the best thing that has happened this patch. Especially as a
Agreed.
left laner who has to deal with Odin green buff. Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm so happy
Um,
that's gone.
I agree.
Let's see.
was very
Thor getting
awkward.
The damage taken away.
It was very awkward. Right when we joined the game, like Cooper and I were playing, we joined the game. We ran over to green buff, and we are like, "Wait, what's going on? Shit! What do we do?
Okay, the
I don't
left
know.
lane's
Run to the
stronger now,
jungle."
though.
It was
Yeah, left
terrible.
lane is stronger because they have blue versus
Like-
cooldown.
We were discussing this, and like it's either going to force people to invade blue, or like you're going to have to get like an extremely hard like kill lane or counter push lane to somehow deal with the blue, because blue is just like the new green now. Like, spamming skills becomes stronger, and cooldown and speed, and that neutral camp does not counter blue buff in any way. So, but
That's okay.
getting rid of green and yellow was the right move, though.
Well, blue buff has always been strong because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and blue buff late game isn't nearly
Now,
as important.
here's the question: should they switch blue and red buff? Should they put red buff where maybe put it in a more neutral place?
That's a really good suggestion, Demon. Actually,
Because
I feel like you'd get better use if you just made minion camps in the jungle spawn slightly later. Because you'd force people to either lose early lane
Yeah.
experience to get the blue buff, or you just have to lane. And if all you have to do is make it spawn like 10 seconds later.
very true.
if you had blue buff in middle lane, it wouldn't make it as like useful for your side lanes to get it. They'd have to be extremely quick because they might miss experience, and having blue lane for both your mid laners might counter off each other. Although, if you invaded and the other mid laner had complete control on blue, that would be a little bit imbalanced as well, seeming like mid lane's the easiest to snowball off of. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if you guys noticed it, but the blue buff, the camp is actually much stronger than it used to be. So if you don't pick up Hand of the Gods for it, it's really hard to take down. Like, we had
Yeah.
3 people hitting it, and one of our guys almost died tanking it. So it actually is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So if somebody was to invade blue, they would more than likely be able to get a kill off and take the buff as well. So
Yeah,
that
it's
is
like
to
they
take
gave
into
him-
consideration, because you do have to pick up Hog to safely take it.
Yeah, because they changed them from
Like they
harpies
gave
to
him like
ogres.
600 health bonus. Like
Right.
he takes a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it from harpies to ogres, and they made the harpies all like neutral creeps. There's no buff with them. You can just kill them for experience. Did you guys see those? Because I
Yeah.
had to run on top of them before I saw them. I was like, "Oh, look, there are harpies here." Cool. Continuing on.
Interesting.
Well, let's take him for no reason absolutely at all.
Yeah, I mean, experience is experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. It can help you keep experience while you're roaming to another part of the map.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to go gank mid, so I'm going to go get the Harpies real quick so it doesn't leave me too far behind, and then also maybe get a kill.
I think it's
Which
good for mid laner.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Coop?
Yeah. We talked about that last week too, and
Yeah.
I kind of voted against it. But I mean, now that it's in, if it does stay, I mean, it's going to prevent a lot of heavy. It's not going to prevent the snowballing on the character that snowballs, but it's going to keep you closer in line with them. So experience-wise, so I guess it's a good change. It's kind of neutral with me at the moment.
I'm fairly certain that the camps. Well, I think it was less than like maybe 15 experience at the most for them, so they're really not that beneficial experience-wise.
They do it
Are
for
they
the
for
gold.
gold?
Right,
That's
it's
what I
more
think.
gold.
Like, you
Okay.
push out mid lane, you go back, and you can safely take those camps really without any threat before you back and come back to lane. Like, if you've pushed or zoned them out of mid lane, say they recall, you can take that extra gold after the wave and recall, and then come back with like 90 extra gold and a tiny bit of experience. Like, it all adds up. Like,
Yeah.
especially in mid lane where you're getting solo XP, and like I said, it's the easiest to snowball.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm playing it and figuring out how it's all going to work. Since it is a public test realm,
level 15 and above.
level 15 above, what do you guys think should be changed? Like, if you were going to add or edit or do something important beyond minor little changes or fixing bugs or anything.
What major thing would you change right now?
Yeah, what major
besides,
thing?
Besides the rocks.
Besides the rocks. We've already gone over that for a bit. Outside of the rocks. What do you think, Husker?
I myself can't think of a huge amount of stuff. You know, maybe if they're gonna have those harpies and then they completely take out green buff. You know, maybe have harpies give back, you know, say 30 health or something, because you're gonna lose a little bit of health taking harpies anyway. So why not have them give back just a little bit? And then maybe a couple item nerfs.
Yeah.
You know,
A couple item nerfs.
I can't remember what the item's called, but the one that Sturmies was using that just completely made him immune to minions. That's just
Yeah.
too broken there. And then if the intentional, you know, Hell getting her ult at level 1, that needs to get taken out too.
Yeah, yeah. So, the
They have to be releasing more hybrid gods, because Freya's got everything she wants at the moment. If you've looked at the items, like with the passive on the ones that gives you like physical and magical or whatever, I never, that's like just Freya can kind of take that up now and use that.
yeah. And
Yeah,
Freya's got a lot going for her in this patch.
Yeah, she really does.
I am worried a little bit of how strong tanks are right now, and just the 2 games I've played, tanks seem pretty much unkillable. And that
Yeah.
was coming from a Kali who was like 11-3 with every item I could possibly want for killing tanks. It was almost impossible. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I mean it encourages you to get past the tanks, get to the squishy line, and kill the squishy line.
Right.
But they might be a little bit too tanky.
When they can take all 5 of you and just be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah, they're a little bit silly right now. But I think that it encourages good gameplay. I just think they could be slightly weaker. I do like that they got better at tanking, though.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that item was that the Guan Yu on the other team had, but when I was playing Odin, and I was building more damagey Odin, but he did his dash and did half my health. And I was
Yeah.
a little bit of what?
Yeah, the last game that I played with you, actually, I was playing against, you know, that raw mid, and I would just use all my abilities. He'd be gone. And then later on in the game, I went after the Ymir, used all of my, you know, my cast abilities as Kali, you know, my 2, my 3, hit him with everything, and was just sitting there basic attacking him. And by the time I was down to half health, he hadn't even gone down a quarter health yet. So he just had an insane amount of tank on him. And so, yeah, I do agree with, I'm not exactly sure who was saying the tanks are broken, but yeah, the tanks are just a little bit too tanky right now.
You're extremely tanky with that new item, the Vanguard, the one that Sturmies took up, and an Aegis amulet. That actually leaves you extremely tanky in lane, and you can be so aggressive, even
Yeah.
through creeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially mixed.
And I think Mystical Mark is I don't understand that. Like, we think it stacks. Like, we actually tested it, and for some reason, we had it on Sobek, and it was doing 50 damage to the creeps. And then we had it on another god, and it was doing 30 damage to the creeps. I don't know why.
Probably a bug.
Yeah, that's a bug that I reported, but...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know Spear of the Magus is only ticking 1 stack at the moment when it should be ticking 2. Sturm
Yeah, there's
tested that.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of little item bugs
Yeah.
and stuff.
Which is why we're happy we have a public test realm that everybody has complained about. So we have a public
Finally.
test realm for the public test. That is the beta.
Yeah. Which is beta 7.
See what happens when you complain a lot? They make a beta for the beta.
Yep.
They're like,
Yep,
God,
that's exactly
I
how it
like
works.
it.
I want you to quit
I like
complaining.
it. So, how do you think...
I think Vimana's broken for Joust. The game won't load when I pick Vimana 3 times now.
I've tried loading into a solo practice mode, and I haven't been able to. Because I wanted to look at all the items that we were talking about, but I can't get into the solo practice.
Joust
I was
Cooper.
just in one.
You.
It's not working now.
Yeah, just joust
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Just Joust Cooper.
Pom-pom, wait.
Yeah, type that in 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not technically wait anymore. I'm just outlaw pon. It's easier to.
This is
It's
true.
much less confusing.
Now you just got 50 friend invites. How do you feel?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So,
So my cat's being ridiculous.
what other things do we want to talk about from that?
More myRevenge.
Utility.
The utility, yeah, that was a big change with the focus items. Yep, with
So-
it's basically everything has a focus statistic. Like, say, if you want on her to stun longer, you level up his focus, not his damage, and he will stun you for 2 seconds instead of half a second. Or say Ymir's wall or Ymir's freeze. The more utility or focus you build on him, he'll freeze you for longer or slow you harder or whatever. So it makes you choose between, do I want to do damage? Do I want to do magical damage? Do I want to do physical damage? Or do I want to hold them there for a while? I said, build full focus on her and then stun them for 15 seconds and walk away. But apparently the stun maxes out at 2 seconds. So that's just that. What do you guys think of the focus? Do you like this change? Like this whole new system that
I
you have
love
to
it.
think of too?
Definitely.
Yeah, I like
yeah,
it. Too.
focus gives gods a lot more of an ability to be able to attack. But yeah, so just the amount of damage people can do. Every god's actually a lot more viable now using that.
See, like, the reason I like it is because the focus will make it a lot easier for them to balance, because they can change the variables in the little way that the focus does, in the way that it scales or whatever for each god, and just tone down each people's flat stats to change that. And like, I think that's really good. I think it will make it a lot easier to balance.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it lets them basically chop up every individual piece into individual pieces, where before we had all these items that did kind of magic, kind of defense, kind of health, and so you had to play with these little settings on all the stuff. And so now you can just, he has way too much focus, we should just tone that down a little bit. That kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you think, Red Viper?
I like the idea of focus, just because it gives the availability of tanks to be, or give the bruisers less damage. Because some of the bruisers like Odin and stuff, they were super tanky and they had super high damage output, which made them a little bit overpowered in my opinion. The only problem we did encounter is I was playing with one of my friends, Kevin, today, and he played Hell, but he built focus items. And on Hell, I think he started Void Stone, then he went Tank Boots, then he went, I think it was Spear or something else that gave focus. And not only was she super tanky, but her heals were huge and her damage was ridiculous. I think she could, she was two-shotting me almost.
Wow.
Like I think 2 hits would take me down to maybe 10% or less.
Wow.
And still be super tanky as well.
Cooper doesn't want to be seen.
No.
He's hiding.
I know. I'm kind of
So I think-
disturbed.
Yeah.
Actually,
Something that,
finally got into a solo practice, by the way. I restarted my client and repaired it, so if anyone's having that issue trying to get into solo practice, that's how I fixed it.
Just wondering if on Boots of Celerity, if it's a typo or not, but it says plus 15 cooldown reduction. So like, I wasn't aware if there was a flat stat or if they just forgot to put a percentage. sign
I
there.
assume it's percentage.
That's what I assumed as well, but
Yeah, I think it's percentage as well.
I think he just put on pants.
That's
Where's he
terrible.
going?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He walks very quickly, though.
Yes, he does.
Cooper, you walk very fast for such a short man.
I'm so small. I'm so small.
No, your house is just very big. That's the problem.
5'5" is not a fun height to be at.
Yeah.
No.
Means it's easier to lift. Anyway. So, hell. Shall we get on to some of the other interesting news, like, for instance, the myRevenge breaking up and the myRevenge tournament possibly going the way of the Dodo Bird?
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
since on the game client, I thought that was really shocking when I saw it, because if you load up the game client for a while, it said myRevenge weekly tournaments.
Yeah.
Like everyone saw that.
Yeah. So
I see myRevenge breaks up. I'm like, are they dumb? I mean, come on, guys.
well, they had to get a sub for the last game because one of their guys didn't show up, and they just they were
are-
having a very hard time getting all of their people
You're
together.
on the latest news. At least like do it for like 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, it's for the community, not just.
I mean, it'd
All
be
I have
really
to say.
nice if they kept doing it, because even if they don't have a team to partake in it,
Yeah.
it'd be really nice to have like an actual consistent weekly thing, and they could transition from being a team that hosts a tournament to being just a tournament host.
Yeah.
Focus more on that.
Speaking of weekly
Well-
tournaments, Cooper,
Yeah.
Oh.
go
Can
for
I
it.
Comment on myRevenge.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Nope.
okay, cool. I think it was kind of more than the team running the event, though, because I think what it was Proxy. Was it QQ?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of those.
QQ was doing a lot of the work and practically all of it, and I don't think it was necessarily a team running the tournament event. I think it was a Proxy QQ running the tournament event. So when he wasn't
Yeah.
getting enough support, it's hard. So
Yeah.
it's kind of falls back on the organization's management now if they want to keep it going, which it'd be, like Pon Pon said, it'd be really nice if they did, but that's management's decision, not myRevenge's.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
that was like the best tournament going at the moment on the weekend, though, for players, like prize-wise. You know,
Yeah, it was like the
and
very
I'm
first
sad
money
to see it
tournament.
go down. If it does go down, I hope they don't drop it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It wasn't for his money tournament. BLG.eu won what?
Oh yeah.
2,500
true. Well, I mean,
euros?
I'm talking like the
Yeah,
first
but currently,
Go ahead.
like, Battleground of the Gods is good for practice, and A series in the long run that's different. So, like, the only thing that you had going that kind of actually gave you a little bit of incentive, gems, and the myRevenge weekly points or whatever it was. So at the end for the big tournament, you could get more. Was nice, you know, something. Like I think DM Brandon said it last time about people boycotting because they're not really giving anything to players or whatever. And
Yeah.
I just think myRevenge was doing the right thing. So I think their management should keep it going, but you know, I'm not part of myRevenge.
Yeah. Pretty much. We can only do so much, saying, please keep going. Please keep going. But speaking of tournament systems, Cooper, do you have anything you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if this is a shock to actually the guys in the Skype call right now, or not a shock, but news for everyone watching. I'm actually starting up a new project, and it's called SmiteNetwork. It's
Sweet.
it's a new tournament site, actually tournaments and event site. It's going to be doing a lot of competitive events here and there, but the majority is going to be consistent cash payouts. That's the goal.
Nice.
So if you guys like DM Brandon, I was on that conversation last week. He was saying there's not a lot to play for, and it went into a lot of seriousness. Well, the whole goal of this project and SmiteNetwork is just to consistently pay out the players that play the game and push it into an esport. That's our whole goal. It's nothing about getting too serious. It's nothing about getting views on our site or hits on our site. That's just consistent payout. So we're going to have a really great system in place for a consistent cash payout. It's going to be pure cash, no gems. I mean, there will be that stuff, but look
Whatever
at cash
hi-rez wants
being
to
the
throw
main
in.
point here. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to sign up on that and start, it's beta right now. So if you guys want to start helping us out, gain feedback and everything like that, go to the link Demon posted in chat.
SmiteNetwork.com.
Yes, and the place that will be covering all of those tournaments would have been what Alakite would talk about if he was here and not ill. And that would be SmiteCasts. If you go to Twitch TV/SmiteCast, is it S? No S, right? Not casts.
Yes, there's an S.
There is an S?
Casts.
Fail.
More than one
Anyway.
cast.
Oh wait,
So-
no, it's just one. Sorry,
Right,
no S.
so it's SmiteCast.
One cast.
Right, one cast. So you can go there, and what they're working on is Alakites. We've got a very actually large chat of people who have spectator mode and people who can commentate, stuff like that. So we're working to get it to be basically a 24-hour casting stream, so that way there's always something being casted. But of course, the problem is teams don't always play, and also there's not everybody awake at some point. So you know you can only do so much for the time being, but that's the goal. That's the goal. So it'll be. BLG will host all the news and like community stuff, and SmiteNetwork will do all the tournament running, and then SmiteCast will do all the casting. It's like we have a beautiful, happy trio here.
It's
great.
The trio of doom.
The trifecta.
There you go. Big word.
yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank yourself.
Talking about SmiteCast, actually, I think I actually may be joining that as of next week or so.
Sweet. Sweet.
Be careful of the future.
Whenever I get my spectator from Duke.
Uh-oh. Not Duke
Speaking
Spectator. I wonder if it's
of-
more overpowered than Erez Spectator.
Oh man.
Speaking of spectator mode, I would like to complain. So
Oh god.
they've already removed the Q&E, which is up and down with the camera. So you're either stuck. I called it as 3 modes. You have ants, or not ants. You have feet. When you start, you're staring at everybody's feet. And then you can go kind of an airplane view where you're above them. And then you can go from a satellite view where you got to get your camera and zoom in. And it's really annoying. And so you had to basically follow. And a way I could trick it to get down a little farther would be if they get close to a wall, you rotate the camera to the wall so it forces you to go down. And then you break the thing so you're stuck there. And you're like, yes, I'm close. But then I have to go over here and I'm not close anymore. Anyway, so that was one of the big things that they took down. So I complained about it. And I was like, what? Can we do something about this? Can we please have it back? And they were like, well, why don't you try it out with the new spectator changes we've done in this new patch? So I got into it just 20 minutes ago, or more like an hour ago now. And then I wanted to beat my head on the desk very hard. Because not only did they not give us Q&E back or anything like that, they severely hindered mouse movement. To turn, I have to do that to go yay, I can see left now. It's ridiculous. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it smoother, make it to where I have this smooth thing to where it's not like Bart or some of the people who are like, ooh, over there, ooh, over there, ooh, over there, ooh, over there. And, where nobody can follow anything. But that's not what you're supposed to do. That's what the caster does. That's what separates the good casters from the bad ones. The good casters will be the ones that know. I shouldn't be woo, with the mouse, because it'll make people turn off my stream. I should be smooth and silky slow and be we should go over here and check this out and give you a nice little walkthrough. It's like taking you out to a dance. Do you take the girl out? No, I'm not even going to go there.
I know in League of Legends Spectator, you had the option to make the camera scroll smoothly. So why not make it so that you have the option to, if you want to smoothly follow a team fight, you can smoothly follow a team fight.
Exactly.
Why make it forced?
That's what I wanted to. You don't want it forced. I would like a button to be able to do that. Hit C, and then it'll make the camera, or it'll make my mouse movement half speed or a third speed or something like that.
Yeah, like a cinematic view camera.
Right. Don't quit removing tools. God, it's not the tool that's broken. It's the user.
Speaking of a broken user, don't we have
On the topic.
someone from hi-rez on later?
Yes, and actually probably
Yes, we
7 minutes. Duke will be joining us. That would be HiRezDuke.
We missed a pretty important change this batch that we didn't
What?
talk about.
What?
Gold's down to 3 per second.
Yeah,
instead
forgot
of
about
4.
that.
It feels, I've gotten used to the 4 gold.
Yeah.
I still didn't like the 4 gold, but I've gotten used to it. And so now it feels really slow, combined with the higher cost on items averagely.
Yeah,
All the items cost a little bit more.
I like that word.
So I'm glad they brought it down, but it feels slow to me now.
yeah,
That's a good change.
we were talking about it before, and we were like, dude, it's totally. They went to 4, so that way they could bring it down to 3. We'd be like, oh, this feels kind of slow. It's not if they went from 2 to 3, people would still complain. But now that they brought it down from 4, it's like tax rates. You're taxed at 50%. Now you're only taxed at 40.
Yeah,
You got a tax
hey.
cut. No, you just raised it 10% from 30. Thank you. Shut up.
Yeah.
continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
It was too snowball with the 4 GP.
It was.
You had to get like stacking items became really strong. You could build them really quick, and tanks were extremely strong because you could get the main tank items really quick, and you had all this extra gold to sit around and buy loads of wards, and you weren't punished if you lost lane. You just hold the lane out. Like in scrims that we played, like when we were behind, we just turtled, and then we won the game because our end game comp was better and the 4 GP allowed us to win. So I like the change.
Yeah, I like the change that they did as well. Going back to what Demon said, I think it's something that they did where they took the 4 GP up so that way we wouldn't complain. I think they were kind of using some sort of psychology on us, because every time something is changed, people are always complaining. Well, now this way we'll be complaining in one way or another. We won't be complaining. People saying it's too fast. People saying it's too slow.
Yep. Either way, people are complaining.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yay, welcome to game design. Welcome to game design.
Welcome to the fickle crowd of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, so...
So then shall we talk about Xblanque?
Xblanque.
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 You know what?
The name nobody can pronounce.
You know what I thought when I saw that name? I thought a green dude that goes...
Yep, same here.
Why?
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. Blanca.
Blanca.
I never played Street Fighter. That was before my days.
He's still in Street Fighter.
I know, but that was before my days. I never played any sort of a street fighting game.
Oh, I feel so old now.
I don't play any of that.
There's been a lot of speculation about her ability. Like, Bart's kind of giving teasers, but then he's taking them away at the same time. So I don't know what's right and what's not.
What was revealed today on the stream? I fell asleep, which means my sleep schedule is now screwed. But I fell asleep and I didn't get to watch it.
It was
his auto attacks and movements, and
He like
and it apparently his auto attack is going to be a bolo. Is it called?
Bola.
yeah, bola.
Well,
The little ball things that you throw around people's legs to make them trip. Yay, more balls!
More flying
what's
balls.
confirmed is he's gonna have some sort of movement increase ability, but it's not gonna be a dash or a jump. It's gonna
And
be-
it won't be able to go through walls at all.
So basically, he's got a sprint built in.
Right.
I guess
and
that's
it
the
was
only
also
other option.
confirmed that his ultimate is going to be a new mechanic, not in the game yet. That's confirmed.
Global.
I think he'll be like a Varus from League of Legends ulti with a couple of different basic skills. That's my and CO's bet.
What's the ultimate? Varus,
Like
for those of us
like
who
you
don't
hit
know.
one and then it goes to like binds the next one and then binds the next one. Like he's got bowlers. Like I just think that makes quite a lot of sense.
He
Either that or
bowls
maybe
them,
the dart gun that we always keep seeing.
possibly.
It's definitely an ability, and he's based around poison as well. So
I heard
I'm actually wondering if he's going to be like a Teemo.
I heard a Nocturne reference that like maybe he can dash across the map at a specific enemy. Like that's it. You know, you can't just dash across the map to get away or whatever. You can only attack a person.
Which would make sense
I'm-
with the new change with being able to see people through the walls.
It could work.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's technically moon related, so you could have like a map darkening darkness jump across the map type of thing.
Oh god,
Yeah.
my ideas. Like I think that's fucking badass.
But wouldn't that be a mechanic similar to what's already in with Thor? Only not as... His would be a little more limited in range. Thor's.
No, well, yeah,
You can only
limited in
attack a certain
range, but
person.
it'd also be more single targeted.
Yeah.
You could just
Single
take off
target.
one carry.
And also, you can't just use it to run away. I mean, if there's no target to go to, then you just don't go anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
his would be
it's-
more
it's-
like an initiate.
Yeah.
It'd be like comparing TF and Nocturne. They both have different uses, even though they're global.
Yeah.
For a league reference comparison.
Gotcha.
So
You know, and like he has the poison. Well, I'm thinking like the dark gun he has, and he also throws bolas. Sorry. So yeah, just going back to another league reference, I honestly still think he's going to be like a Teemo in some sort of aspects. Maybe his movement speed will be some sort of a sprint like Teemo's is.
But not
I think we'll have
nearly
the
as
poison
cute.
mechanic. But I'm expecting him to be like a snare because we don't have many snares in the game, or like snare root, and
yeah.
he's definitely got a poison. And Bart already said that he's got like a dash sort of thing that doesn't go through walls.
Yeah. So what this means is that you'll just have to keep checking on blgaming.com because our people who like to pull things from game files will pull all the mechanics and stuff, and we'll just have to speculate even harder when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because like looking at these icons, you got the Bolas is like number 1, and he's got what looks like hell, what's her name? Artemis's, increased shoot rate. And then his 3 skill looks like he either jumps in the air or stands crazily and blows out of a dart. And then his ultimate is like an eclipse. That's pretty much what it is. So I wonder if he just darkens all enemy vision. Not necessarily. He might not have to go anywhere or do anything. He just darkens enemy vision. That's it.
Might be interesting.
That could be it.
Basically, he's going to be a prick, guys.
Well, that would be a mechanic that's already in the game because of Raw's ability does a very short blind.
Well, that's brightening, not darkening, though.
It brightens to white, it darkens to black. You can't see. Well,
You know,
it's not a
they're pretty
giant
similar.
difference.
But what if it's like a global? Like it doesn't matter. You don't have to be close to him. It's just his ultimate, so everything gets dark for everybody.
That would be cool.
I would just imagine it's a line of sight. Like you can see around you, but you can't necessarily see far around you. You can't see down the lane anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
like the line of sight becomes very, very short.
Yeah, just like a fog of war is added temporarily almost.
I don't know if he said add me, but
Which they would, I think, in this
you can-
kind of game, the amount of stuns and everything, they would kind of have to make it a pretty lengthy darkness in order for something to happen. Otherwise, you would see them
Oh, there he is.
if they got close to you.
dun dun dun. Welcome, Sir Duke.
We
from
are
HiRez's.
joined by HiRezDuke.
How was your day today? Did you have a good day
Sorry,
today?
I had to mute stream real quick.
Aha.
Yay.
And of course, the stinking ad is coming through anyway. It's just like, I'm going to talk no matter what.
Yeah,
So
don't
hang
you
on,
love
sorry.
that?
Do
Let me
continue.
get over this Windows Phone commercial.
How great Windows
Get
phones.
through this.
It's so terrible.
So we're speculating about how do you say his name? Everybody's saying Xblanque.
Xblanque.
It's actually Xblanque.
Xblanque.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
Xblanque.
it's like Xblanque, but the
Say it with me.
second
Sh-
syllable is extremely fast. So it's Xblanque.
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 Yeah.
Xblanque.
At least that's most of. I've seen it pronounced that way in 3 or 4 different sources, so I assume that's the accepted way of doing it. So,
Interesting. Very cool.
yeah.
So
What's going on, peoples?
not a whole lot. We were just speculating about his abilities, and I'm sure there's nothing you can tell us about them that'll shed any more light, like that eclipse.
He throws stuff.
No.
Uh huh.
And,
Really?
Yeah, and then he has a skill where he throws more stuff. And then he has another one where he throws stuff.
So
And then he
we-
has one where he doesn't throw stuff.
Oh. That means a lot.
That's
Ah,
all I got right now. Sorry, I'm sorry.
that's very informative, actually. Thank you.
Yes,
I
yeah.
actually wish I could tell you guys more because he does bring some, like even with all these crazy changes, basically re-envisioning the game
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
you guys are seeing on PTS. He actually brings something new to the table as well that I don't know. I think people are going to like it.
Nice.
I'm sure. I have a feeling that it's going to take a little bit of tuning, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So
Well, we won't
see.
yell at you
That's all
about
I
him
got.
being
Sorry.
imbalanced yet.
Yeah. We'll wait till at least after the first week.
Right. But
okay.
so
right.
He's
so
like, "Thanks."
have we crashed the public test server yet? And B, has the complete population of the regular realm just completely switched over and there's like 5 people playing on, regular
No,
Smite?
because it's just like any other testing session. It's like what happens is, like you diehard fans are just like, okay, I gotta see what's going on, and especially with all these item changes, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I need to figure out how to play my favorite 3 characters all over again.
Yeah.
Especially since, in my opinion, now I'm sure the community will work very hard to prove me incorrect in saying this, but
We'd expect
in my
nothing less.
opinion, I don't feel like there's a cookie cutter build for anybody anymore.
I like
Because,
that.
like I said, that's my opinion. But I think the way the game is set up now, and the way the items are set up now, and focus and all that, I really feel like people are going to be like, well, my team has this, and I'm not just talking about in a pub stomping fashion, like public games, but like even in ranked games, you're going to look at the lineup and you're going to be like, we really need this more than we really need stuns and slows more than we need damage, or it's going to be the other way around. We really need more damage than we need utility, or we really need you, player A, to be our damage, and we need you, player B, who maybe you're accustomed to being our damage, to be our utility because of reason 1, 2, 3. So I just think it makes for some interesting decisions for players, and it definitely makes for some interesting that's what I'm looking for,
options.
Options, but at the risk of sounding pretentious, it makes for some interesting spectating. And I say pretentious because Spectator isn't that public yet. But anyway, but yeah, at the risk of sounding that way, I feel like it's gonna up the spectator value of the game, because it's gonna be like, why is he doing that? And then you see a team fight, and you're like, oh, that's why he's doing that. Okay, I get it now.
So
like that guy was stunned for 3 seconds instead of 1.5, and that made all the difference in how that team fight played out. Stuff like that. So.
Do you think with the items for, say, someone who's more of a classic, just straight up AD, say someone like Kali, that the increase in number of items just give her more ways to do the exact same thing, or do you think they'll add any more options to what you could build with someone like that, or god like
Kali's kind of weird because it's not like she has slows or anything like that. I mean, she's pretty much a pure damage dealer, but we have. I was actually on the phone with my brother earlier tonight because he had not seen the news of all the changes and stuff, and I was telling him about a few things. And I said that one of the big things that people are going to notice with a lot of these new items, especially a lot of the tank items, is that you can actually get really tanky sometimes if you want to.
Yes, we noticed.
Yeah.
We noticed.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have played it, of course. And even if you've looked at some of the numbers, you're like, you start stacking that together, and it's like, that makes for some interesting things. I think you're going to see stuff like, someone's going to go, like, off-tank Kali. And,
I actually saw that today.
Yeah. And I'm not seeing... I'm not saying that's going to be commonplace necessarily, but people are going to see that as possibly again, community may completely prove me wrong on this, but as possibly a really viable option for competitive play, because it's like, all right, we don't need 2 tanks, but we need someone that can take a hit when our tank needs to bail out, or when our tank is gone, to disrupt the back of the other team,
off tanks.
To initiate on whatever. Or we need someone who can just blaze through the front line and get to the casters, and then Kali becomes a
moving assassin,
a key character in that, and some of your other melees, some of your other sort of physical melee become very, very well versed in that, because now they can take a few more hits than they could before, and it's not all about, well, we just bring Sun Wukong because he can jump over everything. We bring someone who pop purification beads and run through everything, and before people know it, Kali is ripping up our casters in the back.
Now,
so
what I want to say,
I think it brings some interesting questions, at least, into how people build their teams and their characters. So anyway, sorry.
It's all right. What I want to say is that you inadvertently made it to where nobody can ever complain about somebody else's build, because they're just doing something unique. They're not doing it wrong. They're just doing it differently. So all the pro guys can't just scream at all us noobs, you're building it wrong.
Magic Power Kali all the way.
Yes, exactly.
Well, AD hell with focus. Now you do the double auto attack, but you're still healing for a lot. You're fine.
Exactly. I mean, look at the new game modes that they're like the game of the day. I mean, we didn't really talk about that, but it's like, all hell, or it's all those things you wanted to do but you can never do because you can't pick more than one god. Or like right now it's Norse versus South. You know, it's all the
Yeah.
Norse gods versus. And what is south? Does that include Egypt or is it just Roman? Because
I think
technically,
I think it's Greek and Egypt.
Because
I
what
think it's
in
Greece
Norse-
and Egypt. I'm not
Technically
certain.
be-
South of Norse would be everything, else.
except for maybe the
They
Chinese
would.
gods, but they would
It's
technically be
still
south
pretty-
still.
Yeah, still south
But I
of
think,
Norse.
I think the Norse gods could pretty much take on anyone else.
yeah.
So
So what you're
Oh,
saying
yeah.
is that the
What
Norse
that
gods are overpowered, is what I believe you just said.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're
I think that's what I heard. I heard
no,
overpowered.
they're, okay, I'm not gonna. tag on it.
We're just messing with you. It's all
I'm
right.
going to. Oh, I know you are, but I'm still not gonna put that tag on it. I'm going to say they're well-rounded.
Well-rounded.
That's a very
I
interesting
see.
way of putting it.
Yeah.
They're
They can fill a whole team just by themselves because you've built too many Norse gods and you've not paid attention to any other realm. That's what you're saying?
more Indians.
Well, I think I said this a while back, and I don't remember if I said it here or if I just screamed it in Bart and I, while Bart was streaming in our tiny room or whatever, which I call the Bort Cave. But I don't remember if I said it there, if I said it here, or if I said it on some other kind of stream or something like that. But the idea for a while, and Xblanque definitely breaks this mold, was to put characters out that people know.
Yeah.
Regardless of what pantheon they fell in. And,
Very true.
fortunately / unfortunately / whatever, Norse falls into that category
Yeah, it does.
It does.
heavily. So that's why you're seeing a lot, you saw a lot of Norse concentration, and you've seen
Greek.
seen us dipping into the Greek and Roman and stuff a
Yeah.
lot. So it's just because that's sort of become a focus, is let's put people out that, new players like, man, I have never heard of Xblanque. They're like, but I know who Thor is. I know
Yep.
who Loki is.
Yep.
I know who
exactly.
Hercules is.
Thank you, Avengers.
Never heard of Bakasura or
Sura.
Bakasura. There we go. I was going to say
Yeah.
Bakasaurus.
Yeah,
New god,
that
Buckasaurus.
works too.
Yes.
Never
That's
heard of
We
Agnew
really
before
need
either.
to. We,
New
we
skin!
really need to make a raptor skin for him.
There
It'd be
you go.
amazing.
Raptor skin for Bakasura. God damn it.
Pac-Man skin.
Hell
Ooh,
skin.
does
First
that.
Pac-Man's
ever hell skin.
Pac-Man's a really good idea. So,
Hmm.
what'd you say?
I would love you if you did that.
Do what?
That's an
Not in a gay
amazing
way.
idea.
I'm still waiting for cheerleader Collie so I can cheer my team to victory.
Exactly.
It's not happened yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We got a lot of flack for that pantheon,
Yeah.
so
I
we
figured if,
have to be
if
as
any more skins are going
respectful.
to come out,
Yeah, well,
it's,
It's one of those where we've got to think very long and hard about what we do with that pantheon, because we press is press, but we don't want it to look like we're intentionally trying to poke fun at a pantheon that, when it's all said and done, we thought it was really cool and we thought people should know more about it, and that's why it's in the game. So, anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw our model and when I saw the Vimana model, I was like, I feel like people might get offended here, but I really want these.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, especially when you're beating someone up with pom poms instead of blades. That's kind of fun.
Pom poms of metal.
so you guys obviously picked Xblanque to do at the end of the world, right? Because you wanted to make sure that the Mayans were the last thing that we remembered being released in Smite. Because, I mean, by the time the next god comes out, it will be past the time that the world should end.
Right.
So,
It
thanks
already
for
is
that.
Technically past the time the world should end.
Are we technically? Of course, we're always technically past the time. But by the time that everybody else knows it as is like, what, 12, 21?
12, 21.
12, 21, 12.
Yeah. And then we get all the technical crap about, well, time and this and time. But for all intents and purposes, thank you guys for ruining
What
the
about
world
Leap
by
Year?
coming out with Xblanque. He is going to destroy everybody because obviously he's going to be so unbalanced that it's going to cause all the Smiters to go nuts. They're going to burn down the houses. Then suddenly nukes are going to go off and then everybody's dead. And it all started because
Smite
Xblanque
will
came
end
out.
the world.
We will smite the world. Thank you. Even named it properly.
That's a lot of drama.
We like to take big leaps.
Yes, we
I
take.
don't know if I can manage that kind of community.
Travis created it.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, he's very intentionally, his release date is very intentional.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no accident whatsoever. originally we were trying to get Hercules out before him, but like Bart showed on stream with his excellent illustrations in paint.
It was brilliant.
There were some changes that were being discussed for Hercules ult, enough that, well, along with all these changes to the game and how his ult played into that, that it was just like, what do we do here? Okay, let's just let's take a break from him for a little bit. I mean, he's basically done, but it's like, how does his ult fit into these huge changes we're doing? And then Xblanque is just like, well, we can build him with that stuff already, not necessarily in place, because I mean, you can see from test server that some of it still needs some tweaking here and there, and still needs art and stuff like that. But still, Xblanque is designed with the forward thinking of what's happening now on PTS, as opposed to Hercules was in the old thought process, the old design of the game. So you had to, obviously that had to be considered, especially for his ult.
So I guess I'll ask the panel, what do you guys think Hercules' ult should be, knowing him from his mythology? I think it should be that he's invulnerable except if you shoot him in the feet. But wait, you can't aim up and down. So
that's Achilles.
That's Achilles.
Yeah, that is Achilles even. God damn it.
I think his ult should be he takes an enemy god and throws it at another god. That would
I
be
want him
awesome.
to like dash forward, grab a god, and start leaping over walls away from the team. It's like something ridiculous.
I wanted him to send an ally back to base, like Shen from Dota 2. That that would be on Pegasus. They fly back to base. You could save an ally from death.
Yeah, I think he might be able to just grab a god and throw it, like friendly or
it's a little
bad.
That's interesting, but that's kind of support-y.
Yeah, I know.
What is?
Well,
if you
I think that would be cool for someone, but I don't know if that would
not for
fit
Hercules,
the
maybe.
direction of Hercules. Yeah.
He's supposed to be more
it just
bruiser,
depends on
right?
how Hercules comes out, though. Because if he
Well,
comes
I mean,
out tanky,
he's
then
sort
that
of-
may be working.
He's sort of a bruiser.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he'd pick
true.
up a god and throw it, and if he's friendly, you can do stuff, and he's bad, and damage.
You can throw him into your enemies?
If he's
Great.
bad, you can just throw him into your base.
Yeah, or just throw him
Can
into
he
a
just
wall.
take his mallet hammer thing, hold it like a baseball bat, and do a slam in the guy's face?
No, I know what he should. I got it. He you cast his ult, he runs up and hits you on the head, and what it does is it drives you down to the ground a little bit, then he takes and he winds up and knocks you off, and knocks you 10 feet back or something like that. It's brilliant. It leaves a path of destruction that anybody in the path takes damage.
And it's
So
Yes.
we've had everything from he should throw someone or something to he should swing his staff or whatever you would call it, his bludgeon, like a baseball bat.
Exactly.
So that's interesting.
And he should also point while holding it upon his shoulder.
ping. So you know right where
He
he's
must
going.
call the shot.
Let's just put this out there. This is why community management is not easy.
Yes, very much so.
Everything from he should throw the ball to he should swing the bat. It's just like, come on. Anyway.
What if he could send an enemy back to base or send an ally back to base, in that choice, because I watched the stream and what you guys were saying, and if you gave him a utility ulti compared to how bruisery-ish, I don't think it would be too bad. If it had a long enough cooldown, it wouldn't be overpowered. If you had the choice to remove an enemy out of the fight, send them back to base.
I think that would be extremely strong. They only have one
That'd be
tank.
pretty good
Bye.
initiative.
It would need a long cooldown.
That is interesting, and not to burst anyone's bubble, going forward but a lot of our god designs going forward are going to try to be a little more synergistic within their own kit. So if you've got someone that's more of a bruiser, we're going to want their kit to be more bruiser-esque. So
I'm
Versus
alright with
a Odin trap, you're going to do more of it. He's going to do some damage to you.
yeah, well, and,
I guess that Odin trap
I'm not
kinda works.
trying to drop hints or anything like that. I'm just
Right.
saying and this isn't just for Hercules, but Xblanque, all his stuff works very
Combo-esque.
very synergistically. I'll say it that way.
That was something I'd asked for, was when I was talking on a stream the other day, was synergy within the kit, how Agni works together. He can stun 3 different ways, and he feels really interesting together. But some gods, their abilities are like, I have this ability and I have this ability, and they
Yeah.
work in two completely different ways,
Yep.
Yeah.
not together.
Yeah, we actually had, we get feedback from all sources. We get it from the community, of course. We get it from, internal sources, and then we even have people every now and then who will say like, all right, if you were reviewing this game right now, what would you tell us? And that was actually something that someone told us a while back. They said, there's some of your gods that everything makes sense, and then you get to this guy or this girl or this whatever, and I'm confused as to what their role is because their kit doesn't synergize well. Like their kit almost works against itself, and so so hopefully we'll see less of that. And I don't know that we'll do a lot of revisiting old characters for changes, but hopefully we'll see less of that going forward, where everything in someone's kit makes sense for their designed role, and works well within the kit itself. So
Right.
Anyway.
So
Please
we have some
don't change
questions.
Cupid back.
What do you mean?
Please
He's
do
stronger
not.
now than he ever has been. A lot of people overlooked that 20% physical power buff and how much like flat burst he gets from your increase to his stats, and he's so strong. And I was so sad. Like we've been running him physical, and I was so sad to see that go.
Oh, like don't change him from the whole
And-
hybrid thing.
Yeah, like because you can like even though he's got magical and like all his skills now, that passive, the 20% physical power buff,
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
I told
And-
people it'd be huge, but no one seemed to pick up on that.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, well, I'm
Um,
glad someone paid attention.
And I was wondering also, I wanted to ask earlier, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, if with like Xblanque is AD ranged or anything
he
like
is.
that. Okay, cool.
He's physical ranged. We need more, obviously, in that category. Everybody's like, we need more mages. It's just like, well, we haven't had a ranged mage in a long time, but we don't technically need more of those right now. I mean, we need more overall, but
Right.
like
Not
the
the
most
second.
lacking place in the game is physical ranged. Period. Just sheer numbers. That's the most lacking place in the game. So that's
I'll
what
agree.
Xblanque is going to be.
All right, we have a question from the stream.
Yeah, it's Scythe asks us, does the possibility of buffing focus numbers exist? Because they seem low at the moment. I built four buff items and was barely pushing 60 focus. It feels almost like a nerf to CC in general.
Look at you guys with Hercules, by the way. I just noticed that because I just went full screen. You dirtbags. Anyway, whatever.
And then what
I
does
didn't
the
even
panel?
notice he was there. Yeah, the focus question. Yeah, well, the entire point, and if anyone that's watched our live stream, I don't know that Bart made this abundantly clear, but I know he said it a couple of times, especially today when Erez was on. Now you're going to move him up. What are you going to do? Put him over my face now?
No, I'm
Yes.
just gonna make them bigger.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
totally
Yeah.
gonna put them over your
Now
face.
we're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally gonna happen now. Anyway, but one of the things that he and Erez were talking about today was that the entire point of focus, the entire point of that mechanic is so that we have another knob to turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically all we had before was damage and protection.
Sure.
And people say penetration was a knob, but it's not. That's just a subset of the damage knob.
Yeah.
Well, now focus changes the game. Now focus is another small knob you can turn for balance, as opposed to some big overarching. We have to change the entire game. We change the entire game now, but it gives us more knobs to turn for balancing purposes. So
you let you
it's like,
fine tune easier.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has to be one of the most.
Thank you.
I feel like it's one of the best decisions we've ever made for one of our games as a company, in my opinion. Just because it's implementing a system now, as opposed to right before we go quote unquote launch / live, whatever you want to call it. We're doing it now when we're
Yeah, heavily in beta.
you call it what you want, but we still call it closed beta.
Beta
Well, the company calls it. I call it clopin beta, but we're still in a stage where people expect huge changes,
Yeah.
Sure.
as opposed to, when the game is technically live for everyone, people don't expect huge sweeping changes. So instead of making this huge sweeping change that was just a big huge sweeping change, it was a huge sweeping change that gave us another way to balance the game slowly, a little bit at a time, instead of having to change everything all over again, the next time we want to make a big change. So I just personally, I think it's actually one of the coolest decisions we've ever made for one of our games. Instead of just revamping everything, we revamped it with a very specific purpose that actually makes making changes in the future more efficient.
Yeah,
So,
and not only more efficient, but better.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how it's a very cool thing for. I mean, anything that has stats-based combat like this, from MMOs to which everyone thinks Smite is apparently this week, to MOBAs, Dota styles, whatever. Everything where it has an RPG numbers element to it. Why not have a stat that controls, what could be the most powerful thing in the game, and that's your ability to control crowds.
Gotcha.
Your ability to
Yeah.
take away someone else's ability to control their character for a certain period of time. So
Great, thank you for that answer. We also have another one on a completely different topic.
oh, sorry. Hang on. I didn't actually answer the question. So
Uh-huh.
I'll do that.
My bad. Go.
No. Yes.
Oh,
What was
awesome.
the original question? I'm pretty sure that was the answer, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was the answer. Yes, very succinctly, all that like past 5 minutes. Yes.
Yes.
So some of our people have messaged us with the interesting thing that with all the new items, some of the gods can get up to 100% crit,
Like if,
or very close to it,
yeah.
so that they pretty much are guaranteed to crit. Is this an intentional thing that you have?
That's actually
or-
something we noticed this morning in a playtest.
Mhm.
Because I won't name any names, but we had a certain person playing Artemis. And if you're watching a stream today, you probably know who that person was. But
Yep.
we had a certain person playing Artemis, and then we had a certain person playing another character, and they were in the same lane, and they were opposing each other in the same lane. And the person who got dunked by the person playing Artemis, decided for the rest of the match that they were going to test things on the map, which meant they were going to abandon middle lane for minutes on end. So Artemis gets extremely fed, right? And by a fourth item, all of a sudden, this Artemis player is going, "Whoa, what's going on?" And that's when we realized that maybe there's something hinky with crits. So yeah, that's going to be very thoroughly examined, because that was something that we were looking at this morning. But like I said, it literally happened this morning, where someone put a certain combination of items together, and it's like, I think I'm critting like 80 to 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So go ahead, bring anything you want at me, but if your whole team doesn't focus me, I'm going to kill you all.
Yeah, I said
Especially
it about
since I'm 5 levels above you, because I'm unopposed in this lane, because someone who got killed got bored and decided to roam the map on end, and the entire team suffered because of it. Rage.
So he said, yeah, basically about 14k gold, and you have 86% crit. With Artemis's passive, you can get 101% crit. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely throw that in our feedback. That's not technically a bug, because if that's what the numbers are doing,
Adding
that's
up
what
to.
the numbers are doing.
Yeah.
But that'd be definitely something for the feedback thread, and then maybe, like I said in the feedback thread, split it off to its own thread where you start, chunking in some, throwing down some numbers and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
What about becoming immune to minion damage? Because I actually went after.
Yes.
Someone said that. I can't remember who said that, but I went in and tested, and within, I think it only took me about 2,500 gold, I was immune to minions.
Really?
Like with immune popping up.
Yeah,
Yep.
because of the item that makes you take 10 less damage, plus I guess armor and how it interacts in some weird way. You just
that's
take
definitely something.
no
now-
damage.
now,
Yeah.
that probably qualifies as a bug, but I would still put that in the feedback.
Yeah.
And just again, tell us exactly what you did to pull that off. Yeah, I'm not
Starter
surprised.
item.
I'm not surprised that any of that's there. It's just
Yeah, I think it'll just take us a few days to find everything that breaks the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we need. And like I
It
said,
is.
it's best to like create a separate thread, or maybe Pon or anybody if
Yeah,
you guys
Mark
want
of the
to
Vanguard.
like make a thread that says, all right, I've put broken stuff here and like be very clear, like show us the numbers of what's breaking, and like what you're saying, I'm completely immune to minion damage now, and this is how I'm doing it, or
Yeah.
what, I've got over 100% crit and this is how I'm doing it, stuff like that.
So I wanted to say thank you, HiRez. Do you see what happens now that we have a public test server? We're giving you loads of things that are broken, and we're saying fix them before you release them, so that way we're not screaming at you when you actually put it into the beta from the beta. Right.
When did I ever say that was bad?
No, you didn't. You didn't. I know you
No.
didn't. I'm just informing that you're doing a great job by making it more.
When was I ever an opponent of a public test server?
Never. You were never
Never.
opposed to that.
Yeah, no.
You
I've been
are our
screaming for it
advocate in
forever.
there. We now hire Duke as our lobbyist.
Sweet.
Duke, I actually have a question for you.
Yeah, what you got?
Oh, go ahead first.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. So with Hell, her first level, she's able to get her ult. Was that an intentional? And why do you guys think you put that?
No, it's very intentional. The entire idea is you can't heal without
Utility
without building focus.
or focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can, but it's inconsequential until you build some focus. So, if you want to heal early, you're still gonna have to buy items for it. So it's really just an experiment. It's sort of the
Interesting.
I don't know that anyone would call it this in studio, and I probably shouldn't, but I will go ahead and say it. I'll call it the karma experiment. Because that's someone you can't directly compare Hell to her. Obviously, they're very different.
Sure.
But well, they're not actually. They're very similar. But
different.
one's stance switching and one is whatever her ult does. I forget. Adds effects or whatever. But yeah, that I would call that the karma experiment, because it's basically okay. Now that we've made this huge change to the game, is it really that bad that she can heal early on? Yeah, I mean she's got sustain and everything, but is it really that bad that she can heal early on? So
Could I make a comment?
Because we don't really
sorry.
have. No. Just real quick. You definitely can, but real quick, we don't really have that many. I mean, we technically have 2 supports in the game.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Raw and
I mean, yeah, Ra and Hell.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it that bad that she can heal early on? Is really the experiment. So
I don't.
yeah, go ahead.
My comment for the Hell thing is that although the focus will change her late game support, the biggest problem with Hell is that she is the strongest mid, and the only counter to her is Hades, and past 5 she counters Hades with her cleanse, and her flat heal from early gives her more sustain than she had before. The only way you could beat Hell was to kill her pre-6, pre-7, and now that she has got this flat stat heal, she can sustain so much more, and the fact that her 1 heal isn't off of focus but still off magical power, she can clear the wave extremely fast, even faster now with her tab auto attack swaps. And her problem is that Hell's damage was extremely strong in mid lane, and I don't want to say to you directly that you've buffed her, but I feel that she's now been buffed more than what she was before. Her focus will affect her mid and end game healing potential for your team, but nothing else has been affected from her, in my opinion.
Gotcha. We'll do this. Well, first of all, and this is something I should have asked for a long time ago, but I've been really busy with stuff and haven't been engaging as much as I need to, and I'll get better at that. But First of all, something I would like to see is someone make a video, and I don't want it to be like a frag video, but basically a montage video of people doing the quick swap with Hell, and showing how much damage she does with the quick swap on her one.
Oh yes, that's crazy.
Like how much damage and how quickly she does that.
Yeah.
Because I don't see people do that in studio much.
Ah.
So I don't think people get how much damage she can put out and how quickly.
Yeah, it can be
ridiculous. There's your job,
It can be
Get
upwards
Fit.
of like 500 damage and nukes like almost instantaneously, while she
Yeah,
heals for like 800, 900 health.
Yeah, so I feel like someone needs to see that, and they need to see it not like you do it and you just keep repeating it and you slow it down and then you speed it up. You know, not a bunch of cheesy frag video effects, but like show yourself just completely dominating someone because I don't even care. I mean, you shouldn't macro it technically according to our terms of use, but I'm sure people do.
Sure.
But just show how fast you can get that damage out, because I don't think people. I think that's a big thing that people are missing is that ridiculous super swap combo
Yeah.
that she can do.
You're just
And
so good at playing this character that you can do it so fast that it actually breaks
Yeah.
the game because we didn't really mean for you to be able to do it that fast. You just can't.
Yeah.
It's her
Yeah.
basic attacks as well, though. She can just
I
a
know.
little minusculely kill those creeps faster now. And that was
Yeah.
a problem. Like, that's why we picked Hades up against Hell, or if we took Hell, we banned Hades because he was the only one could actually deal with her. Like, Ra could deal with her early as well, but then as soon as she gets 6-7 again, she beats Ra. So,
Well,
I don't know,
something that I really think, and that's very valid feedback, and I would say anecdotally very accurate feedback. But what I think needs to be done, and since you're saying Hades is the counter to Hell, do the jump in. It's fun experiment because you get to jump in the new Joust map, but take new Hell and show what you can do with her, and just record an entire Joust match from both angles. Have someone recording Hades, someone recording Hell.
Yeah.
And then I mean it's going to take a little bit of production, but side by side them so someone can see what's happening on both sides of that
Yeah.
fight on a consistent basis, because like you said, that's going to be that's what most people are going to play to counter that. So show it.
Yeah.
Like don't just put numbers down, because obviously numbers only go so far. It's like I'm not going to talk about him right now, but when we originally introduced Thor on paper,
Yeah.
and I mean that's not a slight toward anyone,
Right.
but on paper everyone's
looked-
like, this is ridiculous, this makes no sense, this is OP.
Right.
And obviously he wasn't.
Yeah.
Obviously he wasn't. But yeah, I really feel like someone needs, like, I hate to ask you guys to do that, but I mean, you're the one saying it.
Right.
You get
I'll
what
do
I'm
it.
saying?
I'll
I mean,
ask
the
my team to
community-
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the community
And get
is,
you a video,
is
yeah.
the community is who's saying it. So give me something that I can say, yeah, see, this is what they're talking about. They're not just whining. Not that most people when it's coming from a team, most people are like, well, what are they trying to say? Well, I still think you could do this. Well, show them, the scenario, best case scenario versus Hell in middle lane, and what ends up happening. Show.
Yeah.
All right, this is 1 to 4, which shouldn't take that long. All right, now this is at level 6. What starts happening? Like, you don't have to show the whole match.
Yeah.
But, hey, this is level 6. What starts happening? Now this is level 10, and just have the videos sync together and just show.
complete
Just show it
destruction.
side by side.
Yeah. And then
so,
you can even
someone can see this guy's doing everything he can to counteract what she's doing, and he's still just with Hades, especially since you can build him more tanky now.
Right.
You should be able to kind of keep pace with her, but you should gradually start losing ground to her.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, this is my opinion. This isn't me. This isn't designer Brandon. This is, HiRezDuke community manager.
Sure.
In my opinion, I don't feel like a tank should be losing ground to a caster in the way that scenario plays out.
Yeah.
I agree.
The tank should be able to at least hold
the
the ground.
degree that scenario plays out.
Yeah.
But
It's
again,
only-
but I can only say it so much. They need to see they need to see it happen, and they need to see it happen with people who play the game at a high level.
Yeah.
What we'll try and show you is that it's just the mechanic of Hades being able to group 6 and blow them up and push the lane. That's how he counters her, like the gold denied, trying to take an early
Right.
tower. If he's extremely lucky and he lands a perfect ulti and Hell doesn't have beads and her cleanse leveled and you get her directly in the middle, like she'll get sucked back in at the end of her cleanse and maybe you'll get a kill, but if she has beads, she'll be fine. So that's the only way, like, because we have literally played, like CO has played so much different gods to try and counter her, and it's just impossible. You just ban her, and that's it. That's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Or
a
you
great
gank
video.
her, or you have to do something else. There's no direct counter to her at the moment.
Which, I mean, the community is always going to determine who they don't want to see on a consistent basis. But my thing is, I think the studio's idea is we don't want it to be the same character all the time. And when the stats are saying a character doesn't do that well generally, or does okay generally, but people are banning that character all the time from some of your top level games, that's not going to show up in stats as much. I mean, yeah, bans show up. I mean, that's why we have them in game now, is so we see, all right, who do people not want to see
Thor.
and why, or and let's start figuring out why. That's important, and I said that that once we had bans, that would be an important balancing factor, obviously. But yeah, I really think for the whole the hell things, I just really feel like someone needs to see it on screen. Hey, this is a guy doing everything in his power to deal with this, and gradually he's losing ground to someone who should be killable.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So, I mean,
I just worry that, and this might come off sounding a little off, but it really shouldn't be. It shouldn't have to come down to a pro player, making a video specifically to talk to hi-rez and announce a problem. You have high-rated streamers streaming Hell games, and you have her picked in competitive play. And there's plenty of examples to just be seen casually.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great that we could make a video and they could listen to us, but a balanced team should be able to realize quick swapping ones or how the lane goes without needing the pro player making a video.
well, yeah, you
And-
say that, but it's not like our design guys sit around watching streams all day. No offense to all your streamers, but it's not
Yeah.
like, and it's not like they log in and they're like, I want to play a character that I think I'll dominate with. If they log in to play, they log in to play who they enjoy playing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if they're playing at home, they're playing at home. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're playing to get a real sense of the balance of the game. It's
they want to screw around for once.
They're playing to play the game, and so
Yeah,
some of these people
understand
that
that.
do absolutely stupid things in your game could be a designer of the game just trying to see what happens. But, or they could just be really bad, or both.
There's actually a very good
Anyway,
video of.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying, Pompon. I don't disagree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is for this specific scenario, I'm not saying this needs to happen all the time.
Yeah.
I'm saying for this specific scenario, you guys obviously haven't seen changes, so it kind of needs to be
Scream
sort of
from
a
the top of the
watershed
lung.
moment where it's just like, all right, let me really show you what I'm trying to say. So,
Right.
I just mainly wanted
That's
to play
all
the
I'm saying.
hard devil's advocate there.
No, and I get it, and I agree with you. It's just a matter of where that discussion is, and that discussion is nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, do everything you guys can to make your point, and I'll present your point. But
Yeah.
you can't just keep saying the same thing. You
I
got to
agree.
approach it from a different angle. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree.
So basically, what I wanted to say was that there is actually a good video of Lassie being caught in the Minotaur room. He got around the Phoenixes and was in the Minotaur room with the enemy team by himself as hell for like 4 minutes.
Oh, I
And
saw it.
he
Right,
was-
and it was
yeah.
not 4 minutes. It was like 15 seconds. But
No, it
I
wasn't.
understand that we're
Okay.
gamers
It was
and
yeah.
we exaggerate.
He's staying there, and then Ymir finally got in there and joined him or something, and it was he went and stayed in there for quite a bit of time and was.
It was a
killing
long
them.
time. I mean, it was especially a long time in Smite when, there's so much damage in the game.
Yeah.
But
He's also
what
really
I
good.
will now call Smite 1.0. But yeah, I really, I get it. I mean, and I watched that video and I'm like, yeah, there it is again. But it still wasn't.
Wasn't enough.
It's an exceptional player. If you look at that match,
Yeah.
it's an exceptional player. That how in the world is he even in that match? And I saw some people even make that comment. They're like,
Right.
how is he in this match with these other players? Whatever, screen matchmaker fail or whatever, something weird, something anomalous happened to where he's in a match with people that have no business being in a match with that player.
Yeah.
And he completely dominates them because they, he dances around everybody like they're not moving.
Right.
It's not in a vacuum. Like that's not that's
Yeah.
you're not dropping
Yeah,
a
yeah.
feather in a rock in a vacuum tube at that point. You're dropping a rock,
Yeah.
a giant boulder on top of a feather at that point. And
Boulders
it's not in a
on
vacuum.
feathers. Boulders
Yeah.
on feathers.
It's not an effective show of balance, basically. Is the
Yeah,
best
Yeah,
way.
well, I mean, you're showing excellent player versus people that have no business being in a match with him.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree with Duke on that. Like, I know people think that she's kind of OP. She does have her counters. It really is based on the skill level of the player. Hell's ones are really hard to hit. They're not that fast. They do take skill to hit. Anher is a great counter to her. Alquan can push just as hard as she can. There are counters to her in mid. I honestly don't think she's that big of a problem. Brawler's Beat Stick is a great counter to her as well, to reduce
Not
her
in the
healing.
laning phase.
Right. And there's also, say you're having problems with her in mid, you need somebody to come gank to shut her down early so she can't farm and can't get ahead.
Yeah.
So I think it really has a lot to do with the skill level of the player. I really don't think that she's that OP. Some of the new items, though, are making her damage pretty intense. Like, especially, I think it was called Dementor's Doll, which does the percentage. I think it does like a percentage on top of her damage to someone, so that really did increase her damage output quite a bit. But I still think it comes down to like the skill level of the player. Like anybody can shut down someone else.
you guys
Mystical
can continue
Mark.
talking, but I have to step away for just 1 second. I will be right back, though.
Okay.
Mystical Mark is a big problem now. I think true damage
Yeah.
on any god. You can play it on any god with sustain, and you should win your trades. Even pushing the lane out just from the creeps and taking the plus 20 creep damage item that Satman explained to me now will allow you to do 50 damage to the creeps with your Mystical Mark.
Say that again. With
So
the 50
the
damage.
Mystical Mark obviously doing true damage,
Mhm.
and we found earlier, like we thought it was a bug that on Sobek, when you have Mystical Mark, it was doing plus 50 damage, but actually there's an item that gives you plus 20 creep damage, and that affects the Mystical Mark.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you can
another-
push it hard with that as well.
Yeah, that's another feedback thing. Yeah, it's more. It's like I said, you don't want to post that as a bug or as this is broken from a standpoint of, oh my god, what are you guys doing? But just I guess fashion your
Comment wisely.
Almost gassed.
It's mainly is this what you intend for this to do? But and like you just said, it's a combination of items. It's not one item. It's, hey, this is doing this, but you put it with this, and this is what happens.
Right. It's like the
give us the whole equation. Don't just say, oh god, this is so stupid. Oh, this is so broken. And I know that you guys won't do that, but obviously people will, and people do, and people have already. But
They can, will, and have.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but yeah, just just make a point to, just show the numbers. And, like I said, I was talking about the health thing, but it's not a bad idea. Like if you really feel strongly about something, to actually show it in action.
Yeah.
And you don't have to show a whole match, but show, see, this is what's going on. This is what I'm talking about, so people can get a visual on it. It's not just numbers.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
On the topic of balance, what you were talking about earlier, and a lot of people in the competitive scene will know this, that Erez was talking with people directly through emails. And on the topic of balance, I was just wondering, is it possible if key players, team captains who can represent their teams, can in some way get in a Skype chat or a group with the balance team or someone directly, so that there can be a more live sort of one-to-one feel between the community and HiRez? Because really, I think that feedback and balance needs to come from the people that are playing it at the skill level, from the people that will land the skill shots and can really give you guys the feedback, and then you can get feedback from everyone else. Because I'm not saying anyone else can't give us good feedback, but I think that it would make your jobs easier in a sense. I just wonder if that's possible.
The thing that's going down right now with the sort of the email chain that's going down, that's not meant to be something that's like you are not in our buddy club type thing. It's meant to be something that will become more inclusive as it goes.
Sure.
But it was basically, all right, give me a list of people that give good feedback.
Yeah.
And see, obviously me being more broad-based community, I'm just, I'm going down the streamers list of everyone that's streaming Smite, and, that have everything from 100 viewers to no viewers at all, and I'm the only one that shows up in their channel, and just supporting people playing our game. So obviously I'm not always in tune with, you meta heads that are at the top of the game.
I don't know. I'd like to interject there that if we completely change the game every few weeks, we can't really be meta heads. You're gonna have to give us a little time
to get used to it.
To get used to it. Come back in about 3 weeks. We'll talk.
Yeah, right. Lately, some people have been complaining, you don't improve.
Well, my main thing is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as a veteran plays with a lot of people who are high level and stuff like that, it's really hard to judge when people are getting better in the game, because the game keeps changing so much. It's like, holy crap, what's just happened? I was good at the game, but now I'm not anymore because you just nerfed all, you inadvertently nerfed all of my gods, or something to that effect.
Yeah, we're going ghost mode.
We are going ghost mode here. It's all darkness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we do really need to wrap it up because we are running very long here.
What is Coop doing?
I don't know what's going on here.
Turn off my light. This kid jumps up and just turns off his.
No, that's not why.
Gesticulators Anonymous.
I actually didn't even shut it off. My parents shut it off from upstairs. I went to go get water.
But then he couldn't find the sink anymore, so he stopped.
Because I have an opportunity too. I just wanted to say, this last thing I ever wanted to say was, in your feedback thread, I tried to give some constructive feedback on the points which I think stand out the most of the rocks, and maybe some changes in relation to your post on trying to allow people to roam more. And hopefully, if you guys read that and something, then that can be some helpful, because I love that the patch you're trying to change things up, but no offense, I think the rocks were the wrong way to go about it. It's just Anher Ymir is one example that is just incredibly broken now because of it. You cannot miss your stun. If Ymir's bad with his wall placement, Anher can plug the gap with his pillar. It's incredibly, I don't want to say bad, but I don't think it's the right direction, and I don't think it gives the LOS advantage that you guys are looking for. I think a fog of war 55 feet into the jungle, you can't see someone approaching or something like that, would be a better alternative. Anyway, like you said before, show and ask you guys, so I posted it in the feedback thread.
No, it's great. No, that's great. And I don't want to keep everything going for forever, but I forget what we were saying a while ago. But yeah, just
give us your feedback. Let us know what you think is broken.
No.
Stuff
I
like
remember
that.
what I was saying. I was talking about that you meta heads.
Meta heads, yeah.
Yeah. I don't hang out with guys at the top of the game all the time. You know, people hop in the streams, and I've got some guys on Skype and talk to people in messages and stuff like that. But I'm totally open to whatever you guys. You know, I'm very open to feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm not hanging out, quote unquote, at the top of the game all the time. I definitely want your feedback to be heard. And so, oh yeah, the entire point was the whole email thing. It's a really good system that's actually going where we're actually getting feedback, you know, from the top of the game to the top of the studio very quickly at the moment and back and forth. So, you know, I want to get more people included in that. So don't necessarily send me something that's a bunch of, you know,
little balance changes. Big problems is what you're looking for.
Well, no, my thing is, I don't want your gaming resume sent to me. What I want to see is, I want to see you actually contribute well on our forums, on Reddit, on streams or whatever, like where you're actually being constructive within the community. Because if you're mature enough to handle that, then you're mature enough to handle, you know, this I'll go ahead and say it, this weird email thing that's going on right now, but it's actually really good for the game. So
it is.
You know, the love letters with Erez is what I'll call it. But,
love letters with Erez.
It is. It's very true.
I think Coop had something
Coop,
to say.
were you wanting to say? Were you trying to interject with your hand there for the like?
I think what it comes down to is, what do I have to do to get an item named after me? Because I've been trying for a while.
Coop's toll. There it is. You've now taken Death's toll.
I think what it comes down
That
to
should be mine.
Pon
I
toll?
did Death's toll rank 2, man. Should be mine.
Yeah, we'll just
you did do that on stream. That was amazing. Yeah. So just be active in the community, but be constructive in the community, and present your ideas and feedback in a way that is actually cognizant to someone besides the person on your side of the screen. Because a lot of people think their feedback is really awesome, and then if anyone else reads it, no one knows what you're saying. So be clear. And if you have to make videos to be clear, then make videos to be clear. If you have to make silly diagrams to be clear, then do that. Yeah, I mean, just do whatever you can to give constructive feedback. But I'm done. I know you have to do shout outs and all that stuff.
You're going to get so many YouTube videos from us now. You're going to get so much data.
That's exactly what we want.
But that's fine. But like I said, put it, you know, unless it's something that's like a bug or a super significant exploit or something like that, put it within the community in the appropriate places and stuff like that, as opposed to, you know, don't send it to me personally all the time. And, you know, I don't mind that when it's something that's broken or whatever. That's one thing. But when it's
the system's set up so that way, you know, it should get to the right channels if it's obvious enough. But if you think it's still getting ignored, then try some of these other things like YouTube videos or whatever.
I mean, and to that point, I don't want to keep stretching this out. But to that point, and I'll try to say this fast. To that point, if you're just because you don't have some person with an orange name posting in a thread you made or whatever, it doesn't mean your feedback isn't being heard. As long as it's a constructive, it's presented constructively, someone's reading it, and someone important is reading it. Someone relevant to the design of the game is reading it. So
probably Erez.
Let me be really straight with you. Don't be a douche. Present your ideas in a way that actually makes sense to a normal person reading it, and not just a super amazing metagamer. And your feedback is being read and considered.
Cool. Awesome. Don't rage post. Post what you think is right, and do it calmly. Do it calmly. Before you rage post, go outside, have a smoke, come back in, and then type.
Yes, go outside, get cancer, come back, then post normally.
There you go. So now we want to have our final words and thoughts or shout-outs of our people here. So this time we're going to do it from the middle, and we're going to hopscotch our way out. So I guess we'll start with Pon Pon.
Middle top or middle bottom?
Middle for us.
Middle for us, which is you guys. So middle top. So we'll go with Pon Pon first. You have the first shout out, sir.
I have my shoutouts to the standard Twitch and Twitter stuff. You can find me on Twitch at PonPonSmite, and I'm on Twitch at PonPon not Way, and Way spelled Weiiwi. I'll type out the links afterwards.
Yes.
And also, I have a time slot on the actual hi-rez stream on Smite Games. That's 10 to 12 Eastern that I've been doing this week. And that's been fun, so come check me out on that.
Is that PM or AM?
Yeah.
AM, so it's 10 a.m. to noon.
Okay. So, while I'm at work. Gotcha. We shall watch. We shall watch.
All right. How about you,
Yeah.
Coop? Oh, were you done, Pom Pom?
No, I was gonna say, oh, that's it.
Okay.
All right, Coop, in
Cooper.
your layer of darkness.
From the darkness, do tell us what you have to shout outage.
All right. Awesome. Shout out to you guys at BLG. It's going to be awesome being a regular on the show every week. I think it provides a lot of community resources and news that people don't know yet, and it's an awesome tool to have in the community. Shout out to Duke for agreeing to come on and all the work he does. He's a hardworking fella, and he's given a lot back. Shout out to hi-rez, all the guys that are in this stream right now, all the viewers, and my new project, SmiteNetwork. I finally have
chat right now.
I finally have social media, guys. So if you guys want to follow, not me, but my project, it's just type in SmiteNetwork for Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, anything like that, and
Nice.
we'll be putting some great things in soon. So
Great.
Awesome.
All right.
So then we'll jump over to Red Viper from Team Xblanque.
leader.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to all the guys on the team, Kevin, Michael, Kyle, and Brennan.
All those
Also
names we don't
thank
know.
Duke again for coming on the show as well. I don't know if you guys realize, but being involved in the community, I think that's really going to make your game succeed above many other games that are not as involved with their community. So I think that's extremely important to keep that going, as well as BLG to keep us going as well. Keep the community going so the game can grow. Yeah, I guess just if you guys want to hop in the channel, the Twitch page at Watch Red Viper with a 1 for the I,
Nice.
or follow me on Twitter. I step on Erez, and yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us. That's for sure. Husker fan, go for it, or Husker.
I'd like to give a shout out to Procore Gaming, Zapman, Sparksley, or not Sparksley anymore, just Sparks, Arena Tank, Barbaric, and Sturmies for giving me the position that I have. You can follow us at procoregaming.com, twitch.tv/procoregaming. Their channels as well as Zap55 and Sparks RAS, and then mine is HuskerFan022. And then Twitter's Procore Gaming, and then the same thing for our Twitters as well. So, but yeah, just go ahead and the forums. We're doing a solid state drive giveaway right now for Christmas. All you have to do is sign up on the forums and like the Facebook.
Hey.
Fancy. Sweet. Fancy. All right. Well, I guess we'll go to Get Fit next.
Obviously, thanks for Duke for coming on. It was good to be able to actually talk to someone direct. And shout out to this SmiteNetwork project, which is I'm really happy about. I logged in, I signed up, I looked through your site, and it looks really good. And what you guys are doing, I'm actually really happy about this because there's such limited tournaments coming up, and this will be great, man. What you're doing, so everyone that's in the competitive community should definitely get on this site.
Nice.
thanks.
That it? Yep.
Yep.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. And Duke, do you have any shout-outs?
I'm on Twitter at HiRezDuke. I'm on Facebook, but I never actually look at my Facebook because I'm administering the Smite Facebook. If you ever get a snarky comment on the Smite Facebook, it was probably from me.
Nice.
But yeah, check us out on stream. Obviously, we're not trying to take people away from you guys who are doing successful streams. We're just trying to find an avenue to get more advanced notice on content, like you guys have seen this week with Xblanque and the PTS stuff and everything like that. We're trying to move more toward that. And then obviously we want some of the great community guys like Pon and Zap and other folks in the mix when we can. And we'll probably do some rotations of people here and there, just to give more people an opportunity to expand their audience through our channel. So yeah, hang out twitch.tv/SmiteGame, and obviously follow the Smite Facebook and Twitter. Make sure all your friends know that they can get a key to Clopen Beta on our Facebook.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yay!
Nice.
All right. So Coop had one last thing to say, and then so did Husker Fan. They forgot. Go, Coop.
Yeah, sorry guys. About SmiteNetwork, I'm gonna post a link in the chat. That is, you have to be registered on the site though to view that particular forum. It's gonna bring up our survey system. It's actually a huge promotion that we're doing right now. We put out a bunch of surveys for feedback from you guys on what kind of events you want to run, or you would like us to run, what type of tournaments, what you like about the site, what you want added, stuff like that. And we're going to take that feedback and we're going to try and implement it in the site. But for every survey you complete, you get thrown into a chance to win 800 gems from us. So go ahead and fill those surveys out, and every time you do, you increase your chances of winning. So register on the site, hit that link, and go do the surveys.
Sweet. And Husker, what was your last thing?
Also, I forgot to say, for Zap, man, he now has a slot on the hi-rez stream as well, twitch.tv/SmiteGame. He streams from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Cool. So he's right before
Pon-Pons.
Nice. So tune in the morning for some good old-fashioned high-level play, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, all of our lovely guests, for talking extensively, very much so. And it was very nice to have such a very interesting and long episode.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Rebel, for coming over here on such a cold day.
I always extend the time of the show. I apologize.
Yes, it doesn't matter when Duke comes on.
It will always
oh
be.
God.
We just
Wow.
need to.
Wow.
We just need to. Whenever we have Duke on, just tack on another half hour.
Yeah, I'm
Back
sorry.
on another hour.
It's all right.
Sorry,
But
guys.
we love Duke. He's great, and he likes to make sure his point gets well said.
Yes.
That's important.
He leaves nothing to chance.
No, he leaves nothing to chance. So, thank you,
Well,
I am
I
D
know
Machine.
everything I say gets twisted, so I have to over-explain myself.
Absolutely.
Very true. It's
We
very
understand. We understand.
True. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So you can follow me on
Did it again.
Twitter at Twitter/Dean Machine. Of course, I have a Twitch channel, which is Dean Machine, but I'm always streaming at BL Gaming. Tune in Saturday mornings for Saturday morning mentoring, which is what we do now. Instead of Saturday morning mayhem, we're doing mentoring. Like Starmies is teaching us, like Mazia, some other the pros. They're coming in to teach you and whoever shows up that morning. We last week we broke off into 2 groups of 5, and we had one mentor per lane with a somebody who wasn't as awesomely skilled. The best was joining us. It was a lot of fun. And we learned a ton. So do show up if you want to improve. It's quite a bit of fun. We start 8, 9 in the morning Eastern time, whenever I just get my butt out of bed and roll out here.
He
And,
even showers.
Yes. And so that's pretty much that. So
Check us out.
take it away.
blgaming.com. We have guides. We have a stream system.
We have OP keyboards.
OP keyboards. You can check out all of our past episodes over there on the right.
Yep.
We have a really active forum. So for all the stuff that's not on the main forum, our team's stuff is there, and
Yep.
we have a ladder system. All sorts of really cool stuff.
Yes.
And
Many more improvements coming along the way too.
Yes.
We've
more fun stuff in the future.
exponentially increased our staff for development. So
Expect
things are going
more
to change
good
very
things.
fast, very quickly. So if you happen to go to the site one day and it might not be working that very second, stay there. It might work in 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Stay
Probably
right
trying
there.
to-
Don't move. Do your
All
thing.
right.
Thank you for joining us, and check us out next week, Thursday, 9. And
Yep.
thank you for joining Beyond the Rift, sponsored by BL Gaming.
Yep. Oh, wrong one.
Nope.
That one.
There we go.
There we go.